She was brutally humiliated by her own coworkers. No one sat with her at lunch. No one replied when she spoke. Every step she took echoed across the tiled floor, trailed by whispers. Is she from the Great Depression? Saving for 10 years just to buy a handbag? She packed her lunch, wiped her hands with tissue, and said nothing. 10 minutes later, her husband, the billionaire investor who owns the largest stake in their company, walked in, and everyone was terrified. Ellis & Stein Media Group was a glittering fortress on Manhattan's 7th Avenue, its 30th floor office a cathedral of ambition. Marble floors shimmered under recessed skylights, and $15,000 Knoll desks lined the open-plan bullpen, each paired with ergonomic chairs that cost more than a month's rent. Glass conference rooms gleamed, their walls etched with the company's logo, while a $20,000 coffee machine hissed in the pantry. Employees strutted in $3,000 Saint Laurent blazers and $1,500 Louboutin heels, their Hermès bags and Rolex watches status badges, their Tom Ford cologne a cloud of dominance. This was a place where talent was secondary to image, where a corner office meant you were untouchable. The daily rhythm was a parade of power, morning briefings with artisanal pastries, lunch orders from Michelin-starred bistros, and after-work cocktails at rooftop bars. Respect was earned with designer labels, not deadlines. Lily Morgan stepped into the bullpen, her white blouse crisp but plain, her black slacks off the rack, her low ponytail swaying gently. At 32, a content editor raised in a small Ohio town, she'd joined the firm after a journalism degree from NYU, her meticulous edits saving campaigns but earning no applause. Her lunchbox, a faded blue container, sat beside her keyboard, a relic from her childhood. The team's stares sliced through her, their whispers a gathering storm. Lily's presence was a blemish on the office's polished facade, her plain blouse a silent rebellion against their curated world. A senior copywriter, Ethan Voss, leaned against a glass partition, his $4,000 Gucci tie glinting under the skylights. "Lily's bringing down the office aesthetic," he muttered, loud enough to turn heads. "This isn't a bus terminal." A social media strategist, Olivia Grant, in a $2,500 Balenciaga dress, chuckled, nudging her clique. "No designer labels, no boyfriend, no social invites. How is she even surviving life?" The bullpen's laughter rippled, colleagues covering smirks with manicured hands. Lily sat still, her hazel eyes steady, her lunchbox unopened. She'd worked late nights to polish articles, but the office's disdain was a lash against her silence. The audience's anger stirred, their hearts tensing at the casual cruelty of these gatekeepers, their scorn a blade against Lily's quiet grace. The mockery grew sharper, a venomous chorus led by the office's elite. Cassandra Pierce, a creative director, strutted through the bullpen, her tailored $5,000 Armani suit sharp, her brunette bob sleek as her sneer. At 35, raised in Manhattan's Upper East Side, she'd built a reputation for crushing underperformers. She eyed Lily's slacks and scoffed. "She's weird. No selfies, no sushi posts. Probably plans to stay middle tier forever," she said, her voice a sharpened dart. The team roared, their laughter echoing off the glass walls. Cassandra flicked her wrist, her $6,000 Cartier bracelet clinking, a signal of her untouchable status. Lily's fingers tightened on her pen, her face calm, but the audience's fury surged, their hearts pounding at this personal attack, Cassandra's arrogance a spark in the frost. The office's daily rituals became a stage for Lily's isolation, each moment a calculated slight. During the morning briefing, colleagues swapped stories of weekend brunches at Les Bernardins, their $200 sunglasses glinting. When Lily offered a suggestion on a campaign, her voice soft but precise, Ethan cut her off. "Let's hear from someone who actually belongs here," he said, his Gucci tie a banner of superiority. The room chuckled, their laptops flashing as they ignored her. Olivia leaned over, whispering to her neighbor, "She's the ghost of the 7th floor." The snickers spread, a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public execution. Lily adjusted her ponytail, her hazel eyes unwavering, but the office's scorn was a crushing weight. The audience's anger flared, their hearts with Lily, their fury a tidal wave against this relentless slander. The department meeting was a public crucifixion, disguised as a team bonding game. The manager, Richard Klein, stood at the head of the conference table, his $4,500 Brioni suit pristine, his smirk wide. At 45, raised in Connecticut, he prided himself on enforcing hierarchy. "Pair up for a pitch task," he said, his voice firm. The room scrambled, colleagues grabbing partners, their $1,000 handbags flashing. Lily stood alone, her white blouse stark against the chaos. No one met her eyes. A junior editor, Vanessa Holt, laughed out loud. "Maybe we should hire an invisible intern to be her friend," the team cheered, their smartwatches glinting as they ignored her. Richard chuckled. "Lily, sit this one out." The insults were a guillotine, each word a lash against her silence. The audience's rage boiled, their hearts breaking for Lily, furious at this office's orchestrated cruelty. The bullpen's scorn turned vicious as Lily sat at her desk, their mockery a choreographed assault meant to crush her spirit. A group of account executives in $3,000 Zegna suits gathered near the coffee machine, their voices a venomous chorus. "She's a stain on our brand," one sneered, tossing a crumpled post-it toward Lily's lunchbox. "Back to Ohio, darling." Another waved a $200 Mont Blanc pen, shouting, "Her blouse is a thrift store tragedy." The laughter roared, interns nudging each other, their silver earrings glinting. A brand manager bellowed, "She's an insult to every pitch we've won." The taunts were a guillotine, each word a blade against Lily's poised silence. Adrian's arrival was hours away, but the office's disdain was a crushing weight. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this orchestrated cruelty, their anger a fire ready to consume the elite's arrogance. The humiliation deepened during a client presentation where Lily's work was erased from the spotlight. Cassandra presented a campaign Lily had edited, her Armani suit gleaming under the projector's glow. "This is my team's vision," she said, her voice smooth, claiming credit for Lily's late-night revisions. The clients applauded, their $10,000 suits nodding in approval. When Lily raised her hand to clarify a point, Cassandra cut her off. "No need, Lily. This is above your pay grade." The room snickered, colleagues nudging each other, their coffee mugs raised in mock toasts. Lily folded her notes, her hazel eyes steady, but the office's betrayal was a suffocating weight. The audience's fury roared, their hearts pounding at this professional theft, enraged at this office's treachery unveiled before the ranks. The lunch hour brought a vicious wound, a printed anonymous note taped to Lily's computer screen. "Stop eating in the pantry, the smell of poverty is choking us," it read, the words typed in bold Arial. The bullpen erupted in laughter, colleagues nudging each other, their $200 sneakers squeaking on the marble floor. A graphic designer, Tyler Reed, in a $1,800 Burberry scarf, whispered, "Her lunchbox is an eyesore." Another added, "She's the ghost of the 7th floor." The laughter roared, a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Lily folded her napkin, her hazel eyes lowering, but something in her gaze had shifted, a quiet fire. The audience's rage flared, their hearts breaking for Lily, their fury ablaze against this physical humiliation. Cassandra's disdain sharpened, her words a calculated strike to wound Lily before the office's elite. "She's not just irrelevant, she's a disgrace," she declared, her Armani suit gleaming as she gestured at Lily's plain slacks. Adrian Blake would spit at this. Nobody in his world. Her clique erupted in laughter, their $400 necklaces clinking, eyes darting to Lily's lunchbox. "She's a charity case, not a professional," Cassandra sneered, her voice loud enough to silence nearby whispers. The bullpen cheered, their scorn a suffocating tide, their murmurs buzzing, "She's nothing." Lily's hazel eyes burned with quiet fire, but her smile held, a shield against the betrayal. The glass-walled office loomed beyond the desks, but the company's disdain was a crushing weight. The audience's fury roared, their hearts breaking for Lily, enraged at this director's treachery unveiled before the ranks. The note's cruelty sparked a new wave of mockery, a venomous symphony orchestrated by the team. Olivia stood by the pantry, her Balenciaga dress a beacon, and tossed a paper towel toward Lily's desk. "Use this for your rustic meals," she sneered, her clique erupting in laughter, their $500 earbuds flashing. Vanessa chimed in, "She probably cooks with a campfire." The bullpen cheered, their laptops dim against their scorn. A content strategist shouted, She's an embarrassment to Ellis and Stein. The laughter was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public execution. Lily gripped her lunchbox, her hazel eyes unwavering, but the office's scorn was a suffocating weight. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Lily, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander. The staff's complicity deepened the wound, their actions a fresh betrayal. A receptionist, Clara Wade, in a tailored uniform, approached Lily's desk, her voice dripping with condescension. "Miss, the cleaning crew needs help with the pantry," she said, pointing toward the service door, her smirk mirrored by nearby interns. "We don't allow such lunches in the main office," she added, sparking chuckles from the crowd. At 28, raised in Queens, Clara prided herself on her gatekeeping role. The crowd's approval was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public execution. Lily adjusted her ponytail, her hazel eyes steady, but the office's scorn was a suffocating weight. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional scorn, their fury ablaze against the company's sanctity. The office staff's disdain turned overt, their actions a public shaming orchestrated for the team's amusement. A facilities coordinator, Evelyn Brooks, approached Lily near the printer, her uniform pristine, her voice dripping with condescension. "Miss, the storage room needs sorting," she said, loud enough for the bullpen to hear. "Your simplicity suggests you're suited for it." She gestured at Lily's blouse, her smirk mirrored by nearby clerks. "We don't typically allow such employees in the main office," she added, sparking laughter from colleagues and staff. The crowd's approval was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public execution. Lily gripped her lunchbox, her hazel eyes unwavering, but the office's scorn was a suffocating weight. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional betrayal, their fury ablaze against the company's sanctity. The office's cruelty peaked during a team photo session, a ritual to showcase Ellis and Stein's prestige. A photographer, James Carter, in a $1,000 blazer, directed the team to the lobby's marble staircase. "Only core staff," he said, loud enough for the bullpen to hear. "Step aside, Miss Morgan." He gestured at Lily's blouse, his smirk mirrored by nearby colleagues. "You're not on the shot list," he added, sparking laughter from the team. The cameras flashed on Cassandra's team, their designer outfits gleaming, while Lily was shoved into the shadows. The crowd's approval was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Lily gripped her lunchbox, her hazel eyes steady, but the office's scorn was a suffocating weight. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this orchestrated betrayal, their fury ablaze against the company's sanctity. The photographer's cruelty stung as they orchestrated Lily's exclusion, their actions a public erasure meant to wound her before the team. A lead photographer, Marcus Lane, in a tailored $2,200 blazer, approached the lobby staircase, his voice sharp and cutting. "We're only shooting the real talent," he said, loud enough for the bullpen to hear. "Step aside, Miss Morgan." He gestured at Lily's blouse, his smirk mirrored by nearby assistants. "You're not on the shot list. Stay out of the frame," he added, sparking chuckles from colleagues and staff. The cameras swarmed Cassandra's team, their flashes a spotlight on their designer outfits, while Lily was shoved into the shadows. The crowd's approval was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Lily gripped her lunchbox, her hazel eyes steady, but the photographer's scorn was a suffocating weight. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this orchestrated betrayal, their fury ablaze against the company's sanctity. The whispers grew vicious, a venomous storm echoing through the bullpen. A marketing analyst, Derek Shaw, in a $2,500 Tom Ford jacket, leaned against a printer, his voice loud and cutting. "She's a fraud, probably here to coast on minimum effort," he sneered, gesturing at Lily's plain blouse. "Look at that lunchbox. Did she steal it from a thrift store?" His clique laughed, their smartwatches flashing. A content strategist shouted, "She's a nobody in a company of stars!" The laughter was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public execution. Lily adjusted her ponytail, her hazel eyes unwavering, but the office's scorn was a crushing weight. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Lily, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. The team's cruelty peaked as they spun vicious rumors, their voices a venomous storm echoing through the bullpen. A senior strategist, Preston Cole, in a $3,500 Zegna suit, leaned forward, his voice loud and cutting. She's a con artist, probably faked her resume to infiltrate the firm, he hissed, his clique nodding, their cufflinks flashing. Her presence is a scam, just a ploy to leech off our success. Another added, shouting, she's a gold digger! Adrian's been deceived! The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Lily's heart. Colleagues whispered lies, their accusations spreading like wildfire. She's after the bonuses! Lily's fingers brushed her lunchbox, her gaze steady, but the crowd's slander was a crushing weight. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Lily, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. The office doors swung open, a low rumble silencing the bullpen's chatter. Adrian Blake stepped into the room, his navy suit bespoke, flanked by 4 black-clad security guards. At 40, born in Boston, he was the CEO of Blackmere Global, a billionaire investor Forbes called the Quiet Power, his name a legend in finance. His face was unreadable, his eyes cutting like knives. He walked straight to Lily's desk, paused, and gently buttoned the top of her blouse, shielding her from the cold vent breeze. The room went silent. Richard Klein dropped his coffee, his hand shaking. The audience's hearts soared, their anger transformed into awe as Adrian's truth unraveled the lies that had bound Lily. The bullpen stood paralyzed. Cassandra's Cartier bracelet slipping from her wrist, her sneer no shield. Adrian pulled out his phone, his voice deep and slow. Did someone here send this note? He held up the printed paper, reading aloud. Stop eating in the pantry. The smell of poverty is choking us. The words echoed, each syllable a blade. Who said they couldn't sit near my wife in the pantry? No one answered, faces paling. He continued, I'm giving everyone 10 minutes to clear their desks. Every name connected to this incident, through email, camera, or whispers, will be blacklisted from every company under Blackmere's global investment network. A beat of silence. Then, with piercing clarity, and in case anyone forgot, I hold the controlling stake in Ellis & Stein. The audience cheered, their fury transformed into pride, as Adrian's truth began to reshape the company's legacy. Lily stood beside Adrian, her white blouse a quiet crown, her lunchbox a testament to her truth. Richard Klein stepped forward, his Brioni suit shrinking, his voice trembling. Mr. Blake, we didn't know. Adrian cut him off, his eyes unyielding. You're fired, effective now. The security guards moved, escorting Richard out, his career dust. Cassandra was suspended, her creative director title tagged for ethical violations, her Armani suit a relic. Vanessa Holt and Derek Shaw were barred from promotions, their records flagged. The staff who'd laughed were reassigned to clerical duties, their influence null. The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into triumph, Lily's victory a fire that burned through the office's lies. Adrian Blake's presence commanded the bullpen, his voice a gavel strike that silenced the office's hum. You dared to mock Lily Morgan, the heart of this company's integrity, he said, his hazel eyes a storm of controlled fury. Your titles, your brands, mean nothing against her truth. He raised a tablet revealing a cascade of severed ties. Cassandra's board access, Richard's executive privileges, Vanessa's project leads, all terminated by Blackmere's counsel. Your names are erased from this firm's future, he declared, his gaze locking on Cassandra. You've lost more than a job. You've lost your legacy. The crowd's gasps were a symphony of shock, their empires crumbling under his command. Lily stood beside him, her blouse glowing, her triumph sealed by Adrian's unrelenting power. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as his global retribution crushed the elite's arrogance. The fallout was immediate, a reckoning delivered in silence. Every employee was required to write a handwritten apology to Lily, their pens trembling as they faced her desk. The pantry table was cleared, a sign installed, reserved area, senior staff only, exclusively for Lily. Clara Wade was demoted, her gatekeeping role erased. Tyler Reed was shunned, his Burberry scarf a mockery. James Carter was blacklisted, his photography contract void. The team retreated, their smartwatches dim, their cliques scrambling to salvage reputations. Lily adjusted her ponytail, her hazel eyes tracing Adrian's proud smile. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as the office's elite bowed to the woman they'd scorned. The office's hierarchy crumbled, a new order rising from the ashes. Adrian addressed the bullpen, his voice a gavel strike. "Lily Morgan is now senior editorial director," he said, his gaze sweeping the room. "Her vision will guide this company's future." The team gasped, their laptops dim against his command. Cassandra's suspension was extended, her influence null. Ethan Voss was demoted, his Gucci tie a relic. Olivia's clique was reassigned to entry-level tasks, their Balenciaga dresses dust. The interns who'd laughed were dismissed, their resumes tainted. Lily stood tall, her blouse a beacon, her lunchbox a symbol of her truth. The audience's hearts soared, their anger transformed into pride. Lily's victory a blaze that humbled the office's elite. The elite's downfall was a spectacle, their arrogance shattered under Adrian's command. Cassandra stumbled out of the bullpen, her Armani suit a mockery, her reputation a cautionary tale among the staff. Richard's Brioni suit faded, his scorn a public wound, his escorts pushing him toward the service exit. Vanessa's smartwatch became a relic, her mockery exposed as lies. Derek hid his Tom Ford jacket, his influence void. The staff who'd sneered were dismissed, their careers ended. The content strategist who'd laughed was shunned, her prestige dust. Lily stood tall, her blouse a quiet crown, her hazel eyes unyielding. The office's skylights flashed, capturing the elite's disgrace, their empires crumbling under Lily's command. The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into pride. Lily's victory and Adrian's wrath a blaze that humbled the company's richest in the bullpen's hallowed halls. The staff's disgrace was cemented as they faced the skylights, their arrogance undone by Adrian's command. One by one, they stepped to the bullpen's center, their tailored suits dull, their voices trembling. Ethan Voss faced the crowd, his Gucci tie a mockery. "I was wrong to mock Mrs. Blake," he said, his apology a public wound, his projects null. Olivia Grant followed, her Balenciaga dress faded, her prestige erased. "I shouldn't have spread lies," she muttered, her influence dust. Clara Wade choked out her regret, her status void. The interns who'd sneered stood last, their uniforms stripped, their careers ended. Lily stood beside Adrian, her blouse a quiet crown, her lunchbox a symbol of her truth. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as the staff's apologies echoed, their empires crumbling under Lily's command and Adrian's unrelenting power. The apologies poured in, a public reckoning under the skylights. One by one, colleagues approached Lily's desk, their tailored suits dull, their voices trembling. Ethan faced the bullpen, his Gucci tie a mockery. "I was wrong to mock you, Mrs. Blake," he said, his apology a public wound, his promotions null. Vanessa followed, her smartwatch dim, her prestige erased. "I shouldn't have laughed," she muttered, her influence dust. Clara choked out her regret, her status void. The staff who'd sneered stood last, their uniforms stripped, their careers ended. Lily stood beside Adrian, her blouse a quiet crown, her lunchbox a symbol of her truth. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as the elite's apologies echoed, their empires crumbling under Lily's command. No one knew Lily's past, not the team, not Cassandra, not Richard. Raised in a small Ohio town, she'd worked 2 jobs to fund her NYU degree, her grit earning her a spot at Ellis & Stein. At 27, she met Adrian at a bookstore, her quiet resolve drawing him in a sea of flash. Their marriage, a private vow in a Central Park gazebo, was built on love and shared scars. Cassandra's perfume, the team's suits, the staff's uniforms, none matched the weight of the lunchbox Lily carried. Now, she stood in the bullpen, her ponytail a testament to her truth, her silence a furnace that burned through their lies. The office paused, but the team's eyes remained on Lily. A junior intern approached, her voice low with respect. "Mrs. Blake, your edits, they're brilliant," she said, her earlier scorn a regret. The staff retreated, their influence null, their cliques scrambling to align with Lily's favor. The company enacted a new policy: respect all employees, regardless of status. The bullpen fell silent, the skylights dim, the elite's empire's dust. Adrian leaned toward her, his hazel eyes warm. "Ready to go home?" She nodded, her hazel eyes tracing his smile. They walked out of the office, the spring light fading, leaving Ellis & Stein forever changed by a single note. They said she didn't belong there, but in the end it was them who never belonged in her world. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell us in the comments, what would you do if you were Lily?